everybody. Welcome to another episode, Cressy's Ontario Landlord Podcast series. We are here to always educate and inform our Ontario landlords. Today, we're going to have a conversation about pre-construction, new construction, why in the GTA, why it still makes sense today, what's going on. We're going to talk with a representative from Graywood Developments. Kaleigh Kelly is here with us today. Hello, how are you? Good morning, welcome.
I'm great. Good morning. How are you? Thanks for having me here.
We've been chatting a lot lately about a specific development that Graywood's doing down here in Oakville, and we will get to touch on what you guys have going on specifically with your developments as well to let everybody know. But let's start off with a little bit about who Graywood is.
For sure. So Graywood, we're based in Toronto. This is actually our 40th year in business, so a really exciting milestone for us. And over the past 40 years, we've developed and constructed over 31,000 residences across North America. So primarily focused in the GTA. Our most notable project that we've done to date is the Ritz Carlton in downtown Toronto. So pretty landmark building that we have there. Plus, we've also constructed homes across North America, in Calgary, in Texas, in the States. We've done everything from obviously hotel through the Ritz Carlton, high rise, to townhomes, low rise, and mid rise.
One thing I do know too about Graywood is that you guys do everything in-house from fundraising
Yes,
all the
that's
way
right.
through to sales at the end. Obviously, you still work with brokers like myself to sell some
Yep.
products, but you guys do have your own in-house sales team as well, right? So you guys are a full service, one-stop shop from acquisition of raw land all the way through development through the unit sales at the end, which I think is great personally.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the best benefits I would say to anyone that is looking and researching developers is having the ability to do everything in house under one umbrella gives us full control over the process from start to finish. So we're not third partying items. Our construction team is in house, so we control the quality. Our sales and marketing team is in house. Our homeowner relations team as well is in house. So when you're talking to us, especially on the floor, if you're coming into one of our sales offices or visiting one of our sites, you're talking directly to the developer, which I think is really important in today's market.
Today's market, any market, when buying pre-construction, I think one of the most important things other than location, obviously, because that we know is the number one rule in real estate, right? Location, location, location. But knowing a developer that when they're going to complete the project, how their finishes are going to be. Because when you do buy pre-construction, folks, you're buying a plan, right? You're buying something on a piece of paper, something that is going to be built in the future. So to know how that is going to turn out and that it is going to complete is one of the most important things. I won't mention any names, but there was a development in Burlington where when I first was getting started in real estate 13 years ago, this would probably be about, let's call it 10 years ago, something in that nature. They were selling the 27th, 28th, and 29th floor of their project, but they didn't even have the 26 floors of their original plan approved yet by the city. And they were already selling more floors because they needed more money to keep things going. And that's not a very good thing to be selling units that you haven't been approved for and anything. So again, knowing who your developer is to get through all this, folks, is so important. Graywood, with over 40 years experience, is definitely a reputable, um, a definitely reputable builder in my eyes for sure. And again, like you said, developed everything from low rise to high rise. I don't know if you guys have heard of the Ritz Carlton, but that was in their portfolio as well. And then multiple cities, right? So they've expanded. So that's great. Um, with the market right now that's going on in the GTA, I think my personal opinion is a lot of people got fooled and thought real estate became a get rich quick and not a get wealthy slow. People were buying up units just to flip them with the assignment sales with that appreciation for a while where people were making $100,000 plus in just a short few years by putting some money down, right? So obviously that market has changed and caught up to us, and now here we are. We can't even move an assignment sale. There's so many of them out there that people are trying to get rid of. So people are stuck, right? There's the condo market, the pre-construction condo market is definitely slowed, but is it still a good time to buy? Is there reasons why we should be in the GTA? What are your thoughts on that one?
Yeah, absolutely. I know. I think, a lot of times we forget what got us to this point where we are today. So, looking back, we've been in a rising market for over 30 years now, I would say. Prices just kept coming up and they were going up at an incredibly fast pace. Now, where we got to the issue where we're at today is where we have an oversupply of inventory that's coming to the market. So, a lot of buildings, projects that are closing. So, looking back a little bit, pre-COVID, 2017, 2018, we were in a very healthy, balanced market where projects were still selling. They weren't selling out necessarily in weekends, but certainly the projects were being absorbed. 2019 hits, COVID hits, construction completely shuts down. There's delays. These projects that were sold in 2018, 2019 aren't able to be developed, or there's delays in their closings. Plus, you've got the buildings and projects that sold in 2020, 2021 when the market was just on a very, very upward trajectory, I would say, is that the market is when we really peaked in at the end of 2021 into 2022. So now fast forward to 2024, 2025, all of those projects are being completed at the same time. So in 2024, we had record levels of completions, which were about 40,000 homes that we're completing. And then so far in 2025, we are seeing that number come down a little bit. I think we're in around the 40,000 completions that are going to be taking place in 2025, which is what's creating this oversupply. So, a balanced market to be able to meet the needs of the people that are coming to Toronto is about 25,000 units, is what we need to complete per year. So, we're well above that, which is creating a great opportunity for buyers if you are looking. But over the next few years, that number starts to come down because we are in a slower market where projects aren't being launched. So, we're seeing, projects either being delayed, they're being canceled, they're being converted into rentals. So that's really putting pressure on what's to come in the next few years where there's going to be no projects that are going to be completing. I think by 2028 we're at about 5,000 units, and then in 2029 there's less than 2,000 units that are going to be completed. So by the time we get there, we're going to see a pretty drastic shift in terms of market conditions. So, if you're a buyer looking right now, we have this really great window of opportunity that you wouldn't have seen over the last 30 years as prices just continue to climb. But you're in this window where, as a buyer, you've got choice. You've got people that are looking to get out of their deals. There's amazing pricing out there. And especially if you're looking at pre construction, developers that have launched recently, they want to sell their units. So you're looking at pricing that's incredibly close to resale. Whereas in 2022, 2021, pre construction was about 40% higher than resale. So, great opportunity for people that have the money, that see the future and kind of see where the market's headed to get in and buy something.
You were talking in there about the build to sales ratio, right? And how we are going through that. I'm just going to
Mhm.
circle back and touch on that, and I'm going to bring back actually the graphic that I've gotten from you guys because I think that is great, and we're going to make sure that that pops up on the screen for anybody that's watching this on YouTube. If you are just listening to this on Spotify, Amazon, Apple, or any other great thing, you should check us out on YouTube as well, so you can see these great graphics that we do have. But um, like I said, I've been doing this now for 13 years with Remax, and I've been concentrating on pre-construction and investment for almost a decade. And the amount of new homes that we've been trying to build, or what economists have say we try to build to keep things on an average, on a normal roll, I guess is how I want to say it, is about 30,000 new homes a year, whether that's condominiums or townhomes or detached homes. They just consider them homes, and it's 30,000 a year. And we had never gotten to that mark until we just cleared it when we were getting to
Yeah.
the high 20s. And then, as Kayleigh was saying, in 24 and now in 25, we are delivering somewhere around 40,000 new units, which is 10,000 each year more than what our goal was to hit, which we were never hitting. And now that number's starting to come back down. And then that number is somewhere around 5,000, you said, in 2028, and somewhere over 1,000, but less than 2,000, right in that range,
Yeah. It's
2029.
staggering.
Yeah, and that's because, like you said, projects are not being sold right now. Builders, they want to make money doing this. That's why they do it. So they're either
Yep.
pausing or not delaying or unloading what they have that they haven't been able to sell right now. So there are definitely a lot of opportunities for new construction. And
Mhm.
you guys have some projects across the city where you have, I believe, some ready to move in units that you're trying to unload, right? As well.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, like I said, pre construction is great for those to buy yourself some time. We're seeing people that, and pre construction's always been a great option, whether you're moving into the suite yourself or whether you're using it as an investment property to kind of stagger your payments, right? And be able to put down more at closing. So you can put the deposit is typically staged over, several months to years, depending on the stage we're at in the project. But that gives you the opportunity to reinvest some money, earn some interest on it. If you don't have the full 20% or 15% deposit today, you can kind of pay it in installments, which is great. It's a great avenue for people to invest. I've always invested in pre-construction as well. It's done very, very well as long as your goal is to hold on to it long term. I think where we got caught up in this market is that the intention of people was to never close on it. It was to make it a quick flip. And real estate, as you mentioned earlier, is always a long-term gain. So I think that's important for buyers, especially if you're savvy buyers looking to get into the market today. But there is also inventory, as you mentioned. So we have several projects across the GTA that are move-in ready. We have Wonder Condos in Leslieville, which is a beautiful heritage building loft conversion. We have 250 Lawrence, which is up at Avenue in Lawrence, a beautiful boutique building there. And then we also have Jack Condos downtown at the corner of Jarvis and Carlton, which is a great opportunity for those that are looking to tap into the student rental market. It's a really neat asset class, and we are seeing a lot of traction with it. The location is just around the corner from TMU, so awesome spot if you are looking for, to kind of diversify your portfolio. And we also have the good condos, which is right in the heart of Distillery. So if you're driving down the Gardner, you'll see our construction. We're topped off now, but you can't get any closer to Distillery District than good condos, and that we're looking at occupancy later this year.
Nice. Yeah, no, at the end of the sales cycle like this, normally you are looking for end
Yeah,
users, right? Because they can now walk through it, touch it, feel it at the beginning of that sales cycle. Normally, is where
yeah,
more investors are ones to get involved because they're not really worried if their money's held up for 4 years or 5 years during that build, but it's that
yeah.
end user that comes in at the end. And different sales opportunities builders do, folks, just so you know, and not just uh, with Graywood here and their developments. I'll speak across just so that you guys understand exactly kind of how builders' mindsets go to what it is and how it all works. They need to collect 15% of their deposits for 70% of their units. So just for simple math, 70 units out of a 100-unit building have to be sold and collected of 15% down. So that's normally at the beginning of the sales, their investors that then allow them to get their construction financing. Once they have 70% of their units sold, the banks then say, hey, you're a viable project, you're going to get to go. So here's the rest of your funding. You can start building and coming out of the ground. Then after that last 30%, builders now don't need to get 15% from you. So they can do things like for you first time home buyers out there, they'll only let you put down or only need you to put down 5%, which makes it easy for people to get into the market and everything like that at the beginning as first time buyer into new construction, something that's coming in the future. Whether you're living at home or renting and you're looking to get into new construction, this is a great transition and a way to do it with just 5% down, and you know that the project is going to complete at that time, right? There's no guessing at all. The building is coming through. You can see it being built. And a lot of times, even you can walk through units when you're buying them later in that stage. So it's a great way to do that.
It really is. Like as you mentioned earlier, we're in a great market for first-time buyers as well. We've met with a lot of people that have had this thought or they've been told so many times that they're never going to be able to afford to buy real estate in the city of Toronto, and it's just simply not true. I think there's great opportunities for first-time buyers now. I mean, we'll need to see what plays out with the new government, with the Liberal government that we have, where they have talked about programs that would be available to help first-time buyers get in. But with the market the way that it is, first time buyers have choice, they've got time, and they've got some great pricing that they can take advantage of.
Yeah. And I think, again, with what has gone on in this last little bit in our country here in Canada, and our province of Ontario, it was too easy for people to get into the market. We had the most people. This is going back a few years when we did this study. We had the most people under the age of 35 that owned real estate per capita than any other country in the rest of the world. Owning real estate is something that we all have to work towards. I've helped first time home buyers in their 20s, and I've helped first time home buyers in their 40s and 50s to finally getting
Yeah.
into the market, right? Everybody does need a roof over their head. So, as an investment or as ownership, real estate is something that everybody needs, right? So, this is something that we can get into. And again, to get back to just you were mentioning now versus in a couple of years. To buy now. Benjamin Tall is one of CIBC's economists. I've listened to him a few times, even just recently, about what's going on right now. And he says that you have about 18 months to buy a condo because then the condo market is going to rebound and that big window is going to close. 18 months seems like a long time, folks, but that is going to fly by. It is
Yeah.
going to happen. So if you're thinking about getting into a condo, there's lots of opportunities out there. Maybe that's also part of the problem, I think, that there's too much opportunities. I have
Yeah.
a lot of people that are like, "Oh, do I do this or do I do this?" Or maybe there's gonna be something else coming that I don't know about, so let me wait a little bit longer. Where before it was like, "Oh, this is a really good opportunity. I wanna take this opportunity before I miss this opportunity." And I think that too much selection has maybe paused people or had a little bit here as well, but there is a lot of inventory out there, a lot of opportunities, resale, new construction, and pre-construction. Now, uh, we've been talking a lot about a little boutique project down in Oakville that I want to touch on quickly,
Yes.
because, like we were saying, a lot of new construction, pre-construction sales are not happening right now because it doesn't make sense for those builders to launch projects at that time. Where you guys did launch at this time just recently, back in the beginning of April, you guys launched, and it's a great little project down in Bronte Village for the downsizers of Oakville to be in a spectacular location. But I'll let you talk a little bit more about Claystone.
Yeah, absolutely. We were so excited to launch Claystone. I mean, I think we had a lot of phone calls from people saying, "Are you crazy to launch in this market?" But like you mentioned, like this little project is in such a special community. If you're not familiar with the Bronte Village community, it's right by the water. It's a great little village. There's amazing amenities. You can walk to shops, retail, some amazing coffee shops. There's some of the best restaurants down there as well. Plus, you're a 5 minute walk to Bronte Harbor, so you can go for a walk along the water, go grab a coffee. You can walk up to the ravine. It's also very, very accessible in terms of transportation. You're an 8 minute drive to the GO station. Plus, it's super easy to get on the QEW. So, one of the things that really actually attracted us to this neighborhood is not only the lifestyle, is just being easy living, being close to the water, but there really isn't much supply in this area. So, we are kind of in a niche spot where you're not seeing, an oversupply of condominium projects that are coming, where you're one of like 10 projects that are available. Where there's very, very few condo projects in the area. You are looking mostly at detached or low rise. So we really felt there was a niche opportunity here. And, if you're looking in this market, as you mentioned, there's so many opportunities, but you really got to look at, the pockets of the city where there isn't much supply and there's not a lot that's projected to come over the next few years as well. So there really is an opportunity to get into a market where there's a clear undersupply, that will just help you down the road in the future where condo values will be going up. So we were really thrilled about this. And we actually partnered with a group out of Japan on this project, which I think is really important for people to know that Bronte is now on a global scale. The group that we've partnered with out of Japan is Hankyu Hanshin Properties. So they've been around for over 100 years. They've developed all over the world. They've got a great reputation, very well capitalized. They started in railway and then have since expanded their asset classes into entertainment. They've actually got a baseball team. And they own a stadium in Tokyo, which is a really neat thing to know. And they're publicly traded on the Tokyo Stock Exchange. So they were looking to get into the Canadian market. So they shopped around, they met with a bunch of different developers, and we were very honored that they chose to partner with Graywood because of our reputation, and the project that we've brought to the market over the past 40 years. And then looking through our portfolio, they decided they wanted to partner with us on Claystone, which is really neat because they love the area. They love being close to the water. They loved the feeling of the community, the people that they met with, and the fact that the project itself is 7 stories. It's a mid-rise building, 140 suites, very boutique, higher end. So they felt that it was something really special to be able to offer in today's market. So I think that's a really neat story. I love hearing that story because I think it just tells you where Bronte is, and how it's being positioned on a global scale. So Claystone, we've got a great collection of suites. As I mentioned, it's 140 suites, ranging in size from 480 square feet up to 1,830 square feet. So we have a collection of one bedroom and den, two bedroom and dens. Plus, we also have an exclusive collection of rooftop terraces that are available as well. So there's only 18 of them, and they're up on the 8th floor, and you get this amazing view of the lake.
Nice. Yeah, it is definitely a great spot down in Bronte Village to what's going on. And as you mentioned, there isn't a lot of smaller units there, right? Like condos, so people for
Hmm.
people to downsize
Yeah.
into one floor living, right? To be able to be in the area that so many people have been. Oakville is a growing town, right? It is still a town, believe it or not,
Yeah.
but it's not the city of Oakville, town of Oakville.
Not
Anyways,
yet.
all the condos are more north, right? More uptown, as they call it. But this
Mhm.
is a great little area, the downtown little core there to walk along it in Bronte Village, not just to the lake, but up and down there with some shops. It's a great little spot, and again, it's a perfect place for people to downsize that have been in Oakville for their late like older years, their adult years, and now they want to just stay because there's not much opportunity. And this is again going to provide that a little bit of a luxury touch to everything. It's not going to be your um, Mickey Mouse and cutter cookie cutter. Everything is not the
Yeah.
same. From what I remember, there was like 18 different floor plans, maybe even more than that. So
We have 42 different floor plans in the
okay,
but all of them were designed, it's interesting just, with the shift in the market, we're also looking at how we design these homes. Whereas, 2 years ago, we would have tried to, make them as efficient as possible and program them with, dens that could be used as bedrooms, and how can we fit a second bedroom in here? Whereas these floor plans are designed for livability, where you've got suites with walk-in closets, you've got nice big living spaces, you've got bigger kitchens with bigger appliances in them. So we were looking at who's going to live in these suites, and where we're at with the market today when we were designing the building, and what are the people that are going to live in these homes, what do they want to see? So things like walk-in closets, bedrooms that fit queen size beds very comfortably, spacious living rooms, balconies, that type of thing. So it really was an interesting exercise to design the suites, and we're so proud of how they came out.
yeah, the people that are in the demographic of the downsizing era right now, like my mom, when she went from house to condo a few years back, they struggle with it. They want that space, right? They
Yeah.
want wall space. They want to be able to have their big crescenda and their bigger bed, and
Yep.
everything that they have is not condominium sized.
Yes.
So we have to think about that and to accommodate to them, because that is definitely who the buyer is going to be in this area. I believe is that downsizers coming in to enjoy it, and it's a great little spot. If you have any questions about the Claystone project or any of Graywood Developments, we can always get in contact with their sales team, reach out to us. I'm sure there's going to be a link, a bio, or something that you can click on below that's going to get you to something. Yeah, we always have something there for you. But I'm gonna. This has been a great conversation. I'm just gonna ask Kaylee if you have anything else that you want to leave us with today, something that you want to share about either pre-construction or Graywood or something in general. But we'll let you have it.
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest takeaway message that we always want to leave people with is that there's opportunities. Don't pay attention to what's happening in the headlines. Don't pay attention to the negative news about the condo market. There's amazing opportunities, and if you're a forward thinker, thinking ahead, which is what you should be doing with real estate, it's not a short term hold. It really is a long term play. There's amazing opportunities that you're not going to get in the next few years. So definitely reach out if you've got any questions. Call Kevin and his team, and we would love to have a conversation with you about what's actually happening in the market.
Let's understand that there are opportunities for sure out there. Again, like we said, everybody needs a roof over your head. So whether you're buying something as an investor or buying something to move into, condominiums, the market is on sale. And as Benjamin Tall, economist, says, it's you only have about another 18 months for that until things are going to catch up. According to the graphic that we showed you earlier, maybe it's popping up now, or who knows when it's coming. But that's going to talk to you again about when units are being built, right? And right now, all the way in 2029, we only have currently bought to be built less than 2,000 units, and that number should be somewhere around 30,000. So the market is going to rebound, not to worry about it. And one of my favorite lines that Warren Buffett said: when other people are fearful, you should be greedy. It's when others are greedy that you should be
Absolutely.
fearful. So, right now, while people are not buying, if you are able to, this could make sense for you to get into the market right now again as an investor or as a buyer. Thanks so much, Kelly, for your time and your expertise. Um, she is with Graywood Developments, and the Claystone project is what we were talking about out here in Oakville. Um, yeah.
Thank you so much for having me. This was so fun.
Yeah. Thank you again. And we'll definitely talk to you soon. Thanks,
Thanks.
everybody.
Have a great day.
Bye for now.
Please remember, while we are professionals, this podcast is for informational and entertainment purposes only. The advice shared may not apply to your unique situation. Always seek personalized advice from a qualified professional before making any investment decisions.
Hey, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us this week. I hope you enjoyed the episode. If you're finding it informative and useful, make sure to like, subscribe, share with a friend so that we can keep getting the information out there to Ontario landlords. And keep on joining us. We'll see you next time.